Do you think that President Tinubu can be beaten in 2027?
Mr. Victor, with due respect to you, sir, if there are free, fair, and credible elections conducted in Nigeria, before 12 o'clock on election day, the defeat of Tinubu and his APC minions will be announced. APC does not like me saying this statement. They will go to a comment section on social media and abuse it, but I am insisting and saying it. If the president is very confident in his popularity, do free and fair election. You have been de facto governor of Lagos for the more than 20 years or 26 years and counting. Influence, popularity should be influenced. If you are the leader, you are the Jagaban of Lagos. Do you know that in 2023, people were physically beaten out of polling units in Lagos for looking like a certain tribe? Who is afraid of what? Why is President Tinubu not committing to free and fair elections? The only hope and confidence is in a compromised judiciary and a compromised INEC. What happened? What were the numbers? President Tinubu is the only person who won presidency by losing all major voting blocks. He lost his home state of Lagos. He lost Kano. What happened in Rivers? Let us be honest to ourselves. We know what is. When people come out to boast and say this person cannot be beaten, he cannot be beaten through what? Through free and fair or through rigging. Let us make it clear. Let us make the statement to the end. He cannot lose. He cannot lose through what? Who they vote for him? Where are they? I beg you. Nigerians must put pressure on INEC. It is INEC that is the weapon fashion against you. Leave all this talk of grandstanding and do free and fair election. Then we know who popular.
So who are you supporting? All of these that you have analyzed? An Atiku, a Jonathan, or who?
Shall I be honest with you?
I love this man.
My loyalty is to Nigeria. I am voting for a better Nigeria. In that better Nigeria, I will look at the crop of politicians. Who is the person who has a track record of using public office for public good? Who is a person who is going to ensure that the young people of the country are empowered in such a way that their potentials are unleashed? Who is a person that has a track record of keeping to their words and their word being their bond? And above all, maybe a person who can move this country from consumption to production. So we should understand these qualities and the capacities that these persons bring. Nobody is a saint, but are you a thief? If you are a thief, we cannot vote for you. I am loyal to Nigeria and principles, not to a person.
Senator Natasha, how did you meet her and what was the motivation to stand by her in the course of all of this battle?
The truth of the matter is I have never known Senator Natasha before this incident personally. I knew her as a person who contested for election sometime in Kogi to be governor under the SDP, just like any other politician. For the first time I was meeting her was within this period when they had one of the court hearings. We were there to have another issue, and then we realized that her case was going on. My push to take up this case of Senator Natasha is the same zeal about injustice, no matter who is involved. Injustice does not become justice when it happens to someone maybe you disagree with. Even if the current Senate president was an ordinary senator and another Senate president does the same thing, I will still speak up. Senator Natasha is one of just 4 women in the Senate. And then the Senate came up with, they said you disobeyed standing rules, and then they gave you a sentence of a suspension for 6 months. Your security withdrew from you. Your salaries and allowances stopped. And we said, no, this cannot be the way to go. If a National Assembly wants to be a body of lawmakers, it should be able to uphold the laws for its own self. We have had instances in the Senate where a senator led thugs to steal the mace, the symbol of authority. And it was seen later at the city gate somewhere in Abuja. He was suspended, taken to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, no, you cannot suspend for more than 14 days. By the next year, 2019, he was voted in as Deputy Senate President. A current serving senator, a former governor, was convicted of money laundering to the tune of billions, sentenced to prison for about 6 months before he went to the Supreme Court. What did the standing orders of the Senate say about it? So it is not able to take care of known criminals amongst them. It is women who insist on standing for their rights. Let due process be followed. And when a court of competent jurisdiction says this is the way to go, the lawmaking body should not be the ones violating the rights or the constitution. You cannot arrogate to yourself the powers of both executive, legislative, and judiciary. We must have the rule of law in a country. And that is why we insist that the people of Kogi should not be shortchanged. Senator Akpabio is not more senator than Senator Natasha.
Share this
right now, moving forward, are we looking at her being favored the way others have been favored? Because obviously we know that there are going to be challenges.
There will be,
Is there any plans in the event something goes awry?
Do you know what I have come to realize from this case of Senator Natasha? Democracy thrives when citizens participate, and we will continue to have criminality in government, illegality and injustice for as long as the people permit it. Once the people begin to mobilize and insist that the right thing should be done, the power of the people will always be greater than the criminals in power. So it does not matter the shenanigans that they would want to do. The persons who are in the Senate, there are about 108 of them plus 209, 360 lawmakers. How many are the politicians that will hold how many million people hostage? So beyond the case of Senator Natasha is an outright and flagrant, abuse of power. The National Assembly today has almost become an extension of the executive. It is like the APC town hall. When the president goes to submit a budget, they greet him with his political mantra, on their mandate they shall fall. That place is the People's Assembly. So when will the Senate leadership be also suspended for turning a house that should be apolitical to a political party stakeholder meeting? So beyond whatever it is that they will be planning for Senator Natasha, because it is even unfortunate that for 6 months, a country grappling with insecurity, bandits are holding press conferences in Katsina, the Senate has been bent or has been neck deep into political battles of perceived enemies. So whatever it is, if the Senate wants to remember itself as a 10th Senate that fought to push forward the welfare of Nigerians, or that wasted its time approving loans without investigation and clamping down on one woman, it is up to them to make that decision. But Nigerians will not allow that injustice to be sustained.
Right. If you are to ask to point 1 or 2 steps you think should be taken to achieve these electoral reforms, what will it be?
Occupy National Assembly. Nigerians must mobilize civil society, everybody who means well for Nigeria. As the Senate resumes and begins considerations, they will begin a public hearing and all of those calisthenics about trying to do this, because of course politicians will be politicians. If they give you reform A, they open a loophole by B, because you cannot have it all together. So everybody must, in Nigeria they will say men must mount. Nigerians must put maximum civic pressure to implement or express your right to peaceful assembly. Put the pressure you need, and then begin to look at the critical part of what part of the Constitution or the Electoral Act and the INEC guidelines, whatever that needs to be amended should be amended. And then of course there is the part of almost every case, every political contest in Nigeria ends up in the judiciary. Should the courts be choosing leaders for the people in a democracy?